Hey everyone, and welcome back to Ontario Cryptids. First off, I want to thank the OC members for their support throughout my revamping the tiers into one solo tier. Much appreciated. And thank you so much for rejoining. Today we have 4 encounter stories to share with you all. I have selected a variety of different cryptids to keep you all on your toes. Okay, let's get started. If you have an encounter story that you would like to share, then please forward your stories to OntarioCryptids@gmail.com. I would be honored to share your story with like-minded people. Now sit back and relax as we begin with today's episode. This first one comes from a Reddit user, The King's Peace. I'm posting this so that this community can assist him in determining what's happening on this property. So this is taking place in Twin Cities, Minnesota, and this map you're currently seeing is not the actual location, but it's one of the Twin Cities suburbs. Let me start off by saying that I'm not a big believer in Bigfoot, Dogman, Catwoman, or any such and sundry humanoids people claim to see in the forest. But this feels different. My grandmother, before she died, owned a house that sat on 20 acres or so in a prosperous Twin Cities, Minnesota suburb. The house is on a hill with forest around it. Turkeys, coyotes, deer, birds, foxes, and squirrels have all called it home. However, I've been getting weird vibes from it lately. All of the deer have fled, gone, not a single sighting of any of them there for months. Whenever I go over there, it all looks very still, with not even a lot of squirrels and birds running around. In my 20-odd years of going over there, I always hiked around there and never got a silent, still, unwelcome vibe. In the occasion that I did walk, I got a strong get out now vibe. And then I saw some evidence that convinced me for sure something weird was up. In the front yard was a freshly skinned deer pelt, with some of the fat and skin still in underneath. There was a trail of sprinkled white and black deer fur for nearly 12 feet around it, with some loops. It sounds like a message, "I'm here, stay out if you know what's good for you." I still can't help but get a weird feeling about it all. While my grandmother was still alive, there were coyotes, but I never saw evidence of a deer kill. They lived side by side, I think. They mostly ate rabbits, squirrels, and deer kills wouldn't be in the front yard by the street for all to see. Last October or November, there were about 7 deer who acted like they owned the place, sitting in front of her house, staring you down and sort of stamping their hooves if you came too close. Zero evidence of their existence for the past few months. When I walked my dog up there recently, the woods were unnaturally still. No sky birds, no animals except for a squirrel that ran away. I saw some turkeys in the woods who stood extremely still, scared of me in a way they never were before. The stillness of the forest made no sense to me, and it made me feel uneasy. I turned to leave, and then I heard what I thought was a stick hitting against a tree, perhaps noise to get me out, or it could have been a woodpecker. A bear or a cougar is far more likely than a cryptid, but it makes me wonder, is it a dogman, a Bigfoot, or nothing? Your thoughts, please. This next one comes from another Reddit user called Twisted Stories 857, and this one takes place in 2023 in Colorado Springs, Colorado. This occurred in 2023 in downtown Colorado Springs. We were exploring tunnels close to a river, close to Fountain Creek open space. A buddy and I had a pretty strange and utterly terrifying experience. We both enjoy urbexing and discovered a series of underground tunnels like storm drains that probably went as far as 1.5 miles. Anyway, we made our way to the tunnels, got our flashlights and my camera. We were just talking, and when we got about halfway through, the tunnel narrowed to where we were hunched over instead of being able to fully stand up. We then heard a loud scream that sounded like a lady, but not human. Overall, it sounded most like a mountain lion scream. Look it up. It's a terrifying sound. After we heard this, we both froze and listened. I was shining my light down the tunnel where I saw something pale moving towards us. I probably only saw it for like 4 seconds until I broke out of my shock and my buddy and I were running hunched over in these dark tunnels. I didn't have my camera video on, but I dropped it and sure as hell will never go back to retrieve it. I thought I was hallucinating or something, but my friend saw the exact same thing. The creature we saw was unlike anything I've ever seen. It was completely pale and looked sickly emaciated. The body looked somewhat human, but not quite. The face resembled that of a horse, not as big of a snout though. Really effing strange. If I had to compare it to anything, it would be the above image. The face especially looked like that of this particular picture of Pope Lick Monster. It's like if you took the head of the Pope Lick Monster photo and placed it on the body of a deer standing on its hind legs. I suck at photo editing, so perhaps someone could Photoshop something like this to get a more accurate depiction of the creature. I still get chills even thinking about this experience. My friend and I vowed to never explore tunnels again, obviously. I always thought there were no such thing as humanoid creatures until I experienced this. I enjoy listening to like skinwalker stories, but I always thought they were pure fiction. A deep part of me just wants to know what it is and if it was harmful. Did we escape a potentially deadly situation? Why are not more people seeing these things? There has to be more, right? Why does no one have a legitimate photo of a humanoid? If any of you have an idea of what this could have been, or if you had a similar experience, please share. I'm utterly scared and baffled. This one takes place in the summertime. It's June 20th of 2019. We're going to be heading to Burlington County, New Jersey, and the nearest town is Chatsworth. On June 20th at approximately 6:40 p.m., I was traveling on Route 563 south of Chatsworth near the Franklin Parker Preserve Speedway entrance. I was looking to see what the parking situation was like there for a future hike, so my eyes were on the right side of the road when out of my periphery I saw what I thought was a groundhog on the left. It was very large and I realized that it would have to be a huge groundhog, so I looked fully to the left and I saw an approximate 3 to 3.5 tall creature standing up on 2 legs as I passed by. I did not get a good look at the face and I almost continued, but I decided to turn around about 150 yards up on the dirt road that's on the right. I pulled in and turned around and headed back to their location. There is a bend in the road there. It bends around to the right on the way back. As I made it past the bend, approximately 30 yards in front of me, the creature was still there. It was now fully turned towards me, and I could see that it looked like a cross between Curious George and the character Chaka from the Land of the Lost. Its face and hands as well as the top of its feet were hairless and a light tan in color. The fur it was covered with was a golden brown, a little darker than a golden retriever, very much like the color of a groundhog. I could not see the nose. When I locked eyes with it, I could not see whites, just the dark brown eyes. It stood there for a second or two when I rounded the bend and then took off, running back into the swampy area. It ducked behind a short bush, and when I drove past it, I could no longer see it. I turned the car around again, and when I went by again, it was gone. I waited there a bit to see if I could see anything moving in the field. I couldn't, so I took off. It was a couple of days before I shared the experience with my family and friends. In that period of time, I thought for sure someone was going to report a missing kid in a Halloween costume. When this thing took off running, it was fast. I would describe it as the fastest kid on the 10 to 12 baseball team. We had really bad storms that night and my commute was a disaster. It poured all through that area and I thought it was odd that this thing I saw appeared to be dry. At least the fur was. I hope you all enjoyed these encounters today. I said I would offer a variety of encounters and I did, just not 4 of them. My whole day got messed up around yesterday and I started a bit late with getting these episodes ready for Sunday. My apologies. But anyhow, what do you think is plaguing the first encounter story? Is it a Bigfoot? Is it a Dogman? Let me know in the comments below. The second encounter was also very interesting. Last I read, he was trying to retrieve his camera. I found the description of the last encounter very intriguing, since it sounds like he saw a toddler given the height, and the fact that it could run as fast as the fastest 10 to 12-year-old kid was also intriguing. Now I would like to take the time to thank the current OC members. The current members are Elizabeth, Jim, and Diana. Thank you so very much for your support. If you'd like to learn more about the OC membership program, then just head on over to the OC Communities tab to learn more. If these stories reminded you of an encounter that you may have had and would like to share, then please forward your stories to OntarioCryptids@gmail.com. I would be honored to share your story on this channel. Thank you all for listening until the end. I truly appreciate it. Please hit the like button on your way out and smash the subscribe button if you're new to my channel. Have a great weekend and we'll see you all next week right here on Ontario Cryptids.